What's up, party people? And welcome back to another episode of Thrive Like a Parent podcast. I asked you this week to give me some questions and tell me what you want to talk about on the podcast. And oh boy, am I fired up. I'm raring to go. I don't know how many podcasts I'm going to record today, but I have a feeling it's going to be more than one because I am just loving these topics. I'm loving all the things you ask. So please keep them coming. And today, drum roll, the first one I'm going to talk about is someone wrote, struggling with that I might have ADHD as a mom, ADHD versus just overstimulation. I've talked about this before, but I want to get down and to the nitty gritty, if you will. And I've kind of ripped all the Band-Aids off, and the older I get and the longer I do this, the more blunt I get. So I really hope you're okay with my bluntness because I'm just going to say it. I think it's bullshit that we live in a world where we accept all forms of humans, all pronouns, all marriages, or we would like to, right? We're moving towards an inclusive culture. Yet somehow it's still okay to have a book called the DSM, whatever it is at this point. I could Google it, DSM 5, 6, 7. I don't know. It's been revised so many times with every fucking page over and over and over says disorder, 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 disorder. If you open that book right now, I guarantee you could diagnose yourself with maybe 3 or 4 because all the symptoms under all the diagnosis are so wide ranged. And so I think that the DSM, whatever it is at this point, it might be even at 8, whoever's, looking at that shit is probably like, you dumbass, you should know what, you should know what edition they're on. But anyway, I don't really care. So this shows you how much I look at it. I feel that it is so wrong to be diagnosing individuals with the word disorder. I think it is so derogatory. I think it is so negative. And look, I understand that there are so many people in the world who embrace their diagnosis and love their diagnosis, and they identify with their diagnosis, and they feel like a whole person. They used to feel broken. They used to feel lost. They used to feel alone. They used to feel crazy or nuts. And now that they have their diagnosis of ADHD or autism or sensory processing disorder or bipolar, whatever it is, right? You can be like, okay, now I know. And I don't want to take that away from you. That's education of understanding maybe how your brain functions, if you will. But the part that's so irritating to me is that if we spent a little bit of time teaching this in elementary, middle, maybe high school would probably be the best place to start because we're mature and we can figure it out and all the different things. But if we spent just a little bit of time on teaching our children how our brain functions, we might actually understand that we're not all fucking crazy. No joke. We're not all fucking crazy. So I'm going to break it down for you into, if you look at what the symptoms are. So here we go. ADHD symptoms. This just pulled up and it says in women: inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, mental health issues, relationships, meaning probably issues with relationships, hypersensitivity to criticism, sleeping disorders. Women with ADHD often have more inattentiveness than hyperactivity and impulsivity, which are more common symptoms in men and boys. Women with ADHD may also be better at masking their symptom. Another one says difficulty staying focused, being disorganized, forgetful, procrastinating, and often changing topics mid-conversation. Difficulty keeping track of schedules, appointments, and belongings, frequently losing or misplacing items, and needing help with time management. Now, if you don't have any of those, you're perfect, right? If you don't have any of the ones I just word vomited out, you're perfect, right? You must be, because I'm sure every single one of you can find something within that diagnosis that's oh yeah, I do have a really hard time struggling with keeping schedule. Oh yeah, I am forgetful. No, I actually don't do that, but yes, sleeping is a struggle for me. It's bullshit. It is so bullshit. So ADHD, this is the bottom line, and I'm going to dive deep and explain the brain and all the different things, but ADHD is literally the same symptoms of an overactive nervous system. And what I mean by, and you may be like, overactive, what does that mean? Because Brooke, you don't say that a lot. We are all different. I talk about all the time how like maybe you have a child who's like can sit and attend and focus. Maybe you have another child who's like jumping off the walls and is the monkey in the house, and you're, walking on eggshells, and they have so many emotions, and they snap easily, or they get irritated easily, or they hit kids at school, or like the one that you're like, holy shit, I'm turning gray. That kid. That's an overactive nervous system, which means that that nervous system is living in the world, responding to stimuli, and acting as though there is a burning building at all times. Now, they are diagnosing a lot of kids recently with pathological demand avoidance, okay? Which means that they avoid these burning building. Like they have like big, huge emotions, and they have a lot of meltdowns, and they have a lot of tantrums. And the literature is so little on this diagnosis right now that there's a few people. One was like a lawyer, and she decided to totally switch her career and be the guru of how to treat kids with PDA. And I'm not knocking it, but I am knocking it because what she says in this book is you have to allow the nervous system to feel safe so that when your child is melting down, we don't try to stop the meltdown. And what we do is we basically give them what they want. Because if you don't give them what they want or don't make their brain think that they're getting what they want, they will, in their brain, feel like there's a fire and they need to stop, drop, and roll. So it's like psychological. And she's like, it's made our lives so much better. My son is so much better. But what kind of human and adult is that going to be if you've given into that child and given them every single thing that they want because we haven't taught their brain how to learn to regulate and how to learn to be safe and say, okay, my body is safe. My brain is safe. My nervous system is just really ramped up. It's overactive and I need to recalibrate it. That's just a side note, but going back to ADHD and the difference of overstimulation, you are overstimulated if you think that you have ADHD. If you have ADHD and diagnosed, you, congratulations, have an overactive nervous system. You don't know how to regulate it because your brain has patterned that. So let's use me as an example because I was diagnosed with ADD in third grade. I did not have more the hyperactivity. I had more the inattentiveness, just like daydreaming in class. I'd read a whole page and I'd be like, what the fuck did I just read? Like, and learning was a struggle for me because I literally would read the page and be like, what the fuck did I just read? So I'd have to find ways of like writing it over and over. And that was what it was for me or how it presented for me. Okay. I don't really have those problems as adults anymore, to be quite honest with you. Like I've managed my life and figured out how to be able to retain the information that I need to retain. Now, what actually happened is instead of me being diagnosed with ADD, or take it, like that's fine. My nervous system, literally from the moment I was born, was probably an overactive nervous system, a highly sensitive nervous system. We all have different makeups, all of us, okay? So my nervous system from the get-go was already heightened. That's just who I was. And I patterned that for decades to go, 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 because no one taught me, no one educated me. So like, how am I supposed to know to practice, or how am I supposed to know to rewire and tell my brain, we don't need this energy at all times. This is going to exhaust you. This is going to deplete you. This is going to make you completely burnt out, dysregulated, snapping at your kids, overfunctioning, like all the things. Right? I never knew this until I knew it many years ago. And then I did the hard work of rewiring my brain and listening in to my nervous system of, okay, got it. When am I heightened? What am I doing? How am I doing it? Why am I doing it? What do I need right now? How do I get what I need right now? Maybe I can't get what I need right now, but I know I can get it in a little bit, or maybe I can get it this way or that way. This took And I still work on it every single day. Like I'm still in tune with my nervous system every single day. I was literally just telling Carter because I feel just a little out of sorts. And I usually talk about going back to school and the power of threes and all of that, but I've done that podcast a few times. And I absolutely felt slightly off the first few weeks of school. I was in a rhythm. Like I was so in a rhythm with summer, and I am in a rhythm every summer, and I like lean in more and more every single summer to just like summer it up. Just like, hey, like just like vibe, just like chill. And I fucking love it. Like I can't, like I'm smiling right now. Like I cannot tell you how much I love it to be able to lean into taking a pause, if you will. And my body and brain was so used to taking that pause that when I got back here, so many individuals are like, oh my gosh, I require structure. I'm so glad we're back at school. I know my schedule, this and this and that. It took me a minute to be like, okay, we're back. Okay, we're back to that and that. And oh shit, now I got to be here. Oh shit, I got to be there. Like it took me a minute to literally rev my engine back up because I have worked so hard on slowing my engine down. And what does that mean? Like what does that mean? Just like I said that I probably had an overactive nervous system from the time I was born, and then because I didn't learn what I needed to learn or understand within my brain and body, literally feel it. Be like, I feel that. Okay. Now I know. So what's the opposite of that? How does that feel? And then you got to get used to feeling like that. It's basically like you're stepping on the gas. I've told you before, like what is a sensory seeker? Like that is what I am. That is what I was, if you will, because I've worked on it. I'm a gas pedal. Any of you who have suspected ADHD, any of you who have ADHD, any of you who are curious as to like, what is the difference between overstimulation and dysregulation and ADHD? Like, if you are constantly going from task to task to task, or you always feel like you're burnt out, you're overwhelmed, you're exhausted, like all these things that I talk about all the time, even the ADHD symptoms, if that is you, it's because you have an overactive nervous system that needs recalibrating. It doesn't mean you have a disorder. It doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you got to learn how to use the goods you have. And oftentimes, when I see individuals with, quote, ADHD or seeking tendencies as if they were a seeker based on their sensory profile, I oftentimes find that these individuals are fucking brilliant, like high level intelligence. They don't understand that the world doesn't necessarily work and function at the pace that they work at. So then they get pissed off at people because they're like, it's not rocket science. Like it's not that hard. Because for overactive nervous systems, your brain is working on overtime so fast all the time. And that is why you have the symptoms of the ADHD, because your brain is working overtime. Your brain is working all the time. But you are absolutely brilliant, and you have to learn how to tame the horse. No joke. You need to be able to learn how to throttle, give yourself some gas when you need it, but step on the brake when you don't need it. Stepping on the brake, for anyone who has ADHD, thinks they have ADHD, all the different things I'm saying, it is really hard to step on the brake because you feel lazy, you feel broken, you feel not good enough. You feel like you should be doing something. You've literally built your worth out of going and doing all the different things. Like it's literally your MO. Like, who am I if I'm not over functioning? Who am I if I'm not overstimulated? Who am I if I'm not burnt out? Who am I if I don't have any time to do anything for myself? Like, who am I, right? Because our brain is like, yep, we got to keep going. We got to keep going, because your brain literally thinks that there is a fire. Literally stop, drop, and roll. And I've explained it before, but I think the best way to understand it is your nervous system is like a smoke detector. It is going to sniff out threats. So if it sniffs out a threat and there's music playing and you're already overstimulated, like stop, like turn that down. Like you're going to want silence. Your brain and body is there to protect you. You're snapping. Your amygdala is saying that because it wants to get safe again as fast as humanly possible, but it's coming out at our loved ones. It is absolutely coming out in all the ways, every way, and it's really hard to tame. But this, like I said, tame the horse. This horse is like Kentucky Derby fantastic. This horse, if you have any of these symptoms, you are brilliant. You are so smart, but it's kind of the horse that's not trained. You have so much power, but you don't know how to utilize it to the best of your ability, right? Like think of all the Olympians. Like they need to not only have the muscle and have the power and have the ability to swim across the pool or do the pole vault or whatever the hell it is, right? Not only do they need to have that muscle to be able to do it, but they need to have the precision of when to push at the end in the pool or whether to be able to land gracefully. Like it is all a throttle between push and pull and stop and go. But if you don't know this stuff, if you have never been introduced to this stuff, if you have no fucking idea about sensory and emotional regulation and nervous system and fight or flight and like how does your brain work? Like yeah, like hello, like of course you're going to just keep going. Of course you're going to just be like this is crazy. Like I don't know what to do here. Like of course you are because no one has told you differently. And the really frustrating part is that doctors aren't telling you either. What they're doing is giving you a fucking pill, getting you out the door in 15 minutes so that they can get the rest of the line in here. And I'm not saying that medication is a bad thing. I myself have been on medication before in my life. So I don't want to knock that. But what it's doing is I want you to think of medication as a Band-Aid. Medication is a Band-Aid for all the symptoms you are feeling. It doesn't make it wrong. It doesn't make it right. And I promise you, I have no judgment. Like I push that hard because I talk about medication. I talked about the realities of medication. But at the end of the day, this is not for me to piss you off or think that you're a broken person because you're on medication. Like you get to decide if you need it, hands down. Like you do what you need to do. My frustration lies in the doctors. The doctors don't have time to educate you. The doctors don't have time to sit down and say, hey, we could go this route, or hey, let me tell you what's going on in your brain. And like that is their job. Like they're they're the experts. They're supposed to teach us. But right now it is so fast paced at the world that we live in that it's like we just want the solution now, right now. And medication works. So it's great if that is what's working for you. And again, I'm not knocking it. But the real solution lies in understanding your brain. The real mental health solution lies in understanding sensory and emotional regulation. The real solution lies when you finally start connecting your brain to your body, understanding how your engine works, understanding how your nervous system, right, works, and being able to not just step on the gas, not just step on the brake, but be able to throttle between the two. And when you know that, you won't give two shits about the DSM and the disorders and the diagnosis. You won't care because you will be you, and you will be the expert on you, and you will be the expert on your brain, and you will be the expert on how to support your brain. And not only that, if you got kids, you will then be able to like it is like it's like magic. It's like holy shit, now I see it. Now I know why they're doing that, and now I know how to support them. It will literally change your life. It will. Like it will. And with that, man, I got heated. Whew. This is such a fiery topic for me, and I've skirted around it for so long, and I've said it in a very kind and gentle way. Now I'm just being like a total blunt. I was going to say blunt badass, blunt bitch. I don't know. Look, taking off the coat, truth is coming out. You know, it's true. I think that in my younger years of doing this, I didn't want to hurt anyone or offend anyone. And if you even hear me now, I do a lot of prefacing because my intention is never to piss you off. But, you know, I think that things are drastically shifting in the world, and it is up to us to be able to trust ourselves and trust the information that's given to us. And it's super frustrating when there is so much information out there and giving you the wrong information, or not even giving you any information at all, and we're just blindly trusting. just blindly trusting. And there's literally no greater gift. And I know I always call it a gift. There's no greater gift than learning to understand your brain. And it's like, now that I understand my brain and now that I watch all my clients understand their brain, it's like, how are you functioning in the world without understanding your brain? Yours. Like yours, not mine, not your, partners or the person you went on a date with on, Tuesday, or, the person in the grocery mart who's like, grocery mart, who says grocery mart? But the person in the grocery mart who's like, that'll be $10.99. Like, we don't care about their brains like we do. I mean, peace to humanity, but like, come on, we want to know about your brain. That is what's going to be the most important thing for you. And then you won't give two shits about all the diagnosis. You just won't, because you'll finally be like, oh, it's just my brain on overload. Oh, I feel it now. And to be able to feel the difference between dysregulation and regulation, to be able to feel the difference between overfunctioning and not overfunctioning is just, it's the best. It gives you your life back. It makes you feel normal. It helps you feel whole, healthy. And that's what everyone deserves. If you're having that brain fog, it's because you're overfunctioning. If you're having forgetfulness, it's because you're overfunctioning. It's not just because you have a disorder and you're a forgetful person. Like, oh, like what? Really? Mm-hmm. Yep, it's true. 1,000% it's true. So keep bringing these questions, because I'm loving them and I am just firing it up today. This was a quickie. Oh, Lordy, no dirty jokes, but this was a fast one, and I said all that I need to say. And leave some comments. Look, do me a favor. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you like, what you don't, what you want me to talk about, because I will read the comments. Share this with a friend. Share this with someone you love. Help spread the word about this information, because the more people that know, the better. And I appreciate you. Okay, bye. Oh, wait, no. Hold on. Until next time, XOXO, Dr. B. Toodaloo.